Why haven't you started your t-shirt company yet? And what can I do to help? Well, that was one of the questions I sent out to my members a couple of days ago. And if you don't know, basically what I do is I help people turn their t-shirt design ideas into a full-fledged business. I myself have sold millions of dollars worth of t-shirts over the years, and I want to show people how to get started. But the issue is many of these folks have already spent money buying equipment. Many of them have taken the time to sketch out their t-shirt design ideas on a notepad. But for whatever reason, they just didn't pull the trigger. They didn't move past that. So I sent out that question because I really wanted to know. And so I got an email response back from a guy by the name of Greg, and I want to read this to you because I fear that this might be the same issue that many of you are concerned with and dealing with. Hello, Mr. Ross. My name is Gregory. I've been watching your videos for 5 years now. I've had a dream of starting my own t-shirt brand since 2012. I know exactly what type of brand I want. I'm a very spiritual person and feel God will bless me to be successful. Just one problem. I'm afraid to start. I'm not ashamed of saying that because it's the truth. I knew one day I would reach out to you about this and honestly didn't know today would be the day. However, it is. Please help. So, fear. And as I continued to read the rest of the emails, that theme kept popping up. I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid that people won't buy my ideas and I don't know if I can deal with the rejection. I'm afraid that I'm going to spend all this money and I'm just going to blow it. I'm not going to get my money back and I don't want to go into debt. I'm afraid of going into debt. That seemed to be a constant theme. And oftentimes fear is so powerful that we actually base our decisions on the fear itself. And therefore we take no action, we don't move forward. And for many of us, it haunts us for the rest of our lives. There are things that, even for myself, there were things I wanted to do. And for 20 years, I pushed it off. I didn't do it because I was terrified. And I'll share that with you in a moment. But back to Gregory's question. You're going to make mistakes when you get started. That's a given. And sometimes when you know that going in, it helps it a little better. You're going to mess up. People are not going to buy all of your designs. They're just not. Some are going to be a hit and some are just going to be a complete bust. That comes with the territory. But I want to give you this analogy because the key thing is here, the most important thing is at some point, if you really want to do this, and it sounds like this is something you really want to do, you're going to have to make the decision to actually do it and take the step. Now, you remember when you first learned how to ride a bicycle, oftentimes the parents were more scared than the child, but they put the safety helmet on. They put the elbow pads on and the knee pads to try and minimize any type of injury because they knew going in that the child is going to fall off the bike. You knew that you were going to fall off the bike. But as you started to ride and pedal along, you leaned to the side, you fell off the bike, you didn't know how to stop, but each time you got on, you got better and better. You started correcting yourself. You started correcting your balance as you rode down the street. You started correcting how you turn, you started correcting how hard you press on the brake. And at some point, you got better and you learned how to ride the bike. Same thing with the car. When you start driving, you lean it, you're going to the left and the right, but you are constantly correcting yourself. And at some point, weeks later, months later, you were able to drive without even thinking about it. And that's how it's going to be when you finally make the leap to jump into this business. You're going to feel your way through. You're going to make some mistakes. And that's one of the reasons why we put together our program so that you can minimize what's the word I'm looking for? Minimize the mistakes. Minimize how much money you blow. I pay a lot of money each year for coaching from people that know a lot more than me because I don't want to make the same mistakes. I realize that mistakes cost a lot of money, but there are programs out there that people can join and learn directly from somebody who's already been through the process. So just for an example, a couple of weeks ago, I was at a conference in Orlando, and there was an opportunity that was presented to teach people how to speak in public from the stage. And so for 20 years, I've been terrified of public speaking. I've done it a few times, not often, very few. And each time I got on that stage, I sweat like a dog. You could have sworn that somebody threw me in a swimming pool. That's how bad I looked. I was just drenched in sweat. And I lost out on so many opportunities to make a bunch of money. No doubt in my mind, the opportunities that I turned down over the years have cost me millions of dollars because of that fear. That fear controlled me. That fear is what I used to make my decision, and it cost me dearly. So I ran up to the back of the room, forked out $6,000 to go to this 3-day intensive program where we're going to, from sun up to sundown, they're going to help us speak, practice, craft our speech, craft our style, help us identify the message and the platform we want to teach from, and 3 days. And then they have a monthly program where we get out and go speak at least a minimum of once a month. And I decided then I'm going to stop being scared. I want to do it. And I already know I'm going to stumble and stutter a few times. I'm going to sweat like a dog a few times. But at some point, I'm going to get better. I'm going to correct myself. I'm going to be okay. And you're going to be okay too. This life of ours is a journey. We never get to a final destination. We're going to be correcting course from the day we're born to the day we die. When you were a baby, you had to learn how to balance yourself. You pull yourself up. You fell down a few times, bumped your head, bust your lip. But at some point, you started correcting yourself and you were able to walk. You went to school for the first time. You didn't know how to make friends. You had to correct yourself. You went on to the dance. You didn't know how to dance. You had to look like a fool at first to learn how to dance. And then now you were able to dance. You can go to the prom and dance flawlessly. You started your new job. You went in there with a bunch of anxiety and fear, and they trained you. And at some point you got better. This is going to be the same process no matter what you do in life. You're going to correct. You're going to correct. And I'm going to tell you something. We've sold millions of dollars worth of t-shirts over the years on the internet and through direct mail. And 80% of all of the money that we made came from only 20% of the t-shirt designs that we created. So for example, we had 30 t-shirts typically that we sold. Using that formula, 20% of the shirts made most of the money. So out of those 30 t-shirts, six of the 30 t-shirts was the one that was making the most money. That means the other 24 shirts just didn't perform. So when you understand this going into the business, when you create your first shirt and it doesn't sell, you understand. The formula says chances are it ain't going to sell. You're going to have a few winners that's going to make up for all the losses. A few winning designs that's going to bring you in the most money. We had one design that just brought in $300,000 by itself. over the years. We had some designs, but the majority of those designs, some of them didn't even make any money. Made $300, made $1,000 over 20 years. Some of them just tanked. So that's what I want you to understand. So I put together a webinar. For those of you that are interested in building up their own t-shirt company, taking the unique t-shirt design ideas that you have and turning it into a business. If you want to participate in this webinar, it's free. Come over to the website and there should be a link that you can click on, or go to TshirtRiches.com, and here it go, TshirtRiches.com, and sign up for the webinar. It's free. I'm going to talk to you about the top 3 ways where methods you can use to print your t-shirts. We're going to, if you can't draw, I'm going to show you how you can get graphic designers to take those ideas that you have and make it work, turn it into a work of art. I'm going to show you how, if you want to start the business from home, starting out, because that's the safest place to do it. Don't go get an office. We're going to cover some of the basic legal things you got to do in order to run that business from home. And then I want to share the formula that I use to sell millions of dollars worth of t-shirts to people all over the world in countries I can't even pronounce. So get on over to the website, TshirtRiches.com, sign up for the webinar, and I have a lot of information to share with you. And I hope that fear, while it may never ever go away, you know that the process in dealing with it is going to be a constant process of correcting yourself, correcting. An airplane that flies in the air, going from, say, Atlanta to LAX in Los Angeles, California. And I don't know this for a fact. This is the story that I heard somebody else tell me from a stage, that from the time that plane takes off from the ground and go in the air, 90% of the time it veers off course. So the pilot, 90% of the time, from A to point B, 90% of the time, he or she is correcting the course of the plane. It's constantly in the procession of being corrected. And you, my friend, are going to be in a constant course of correction. So get on to the webinar. I'm going to lay it all out for you, and hopefully that'll minimize some of the fears you have about turning your ideas into a business that pays you. I'm Cartez Ross with TshirtRiches.com. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful and blessed day.